Hello, everybody. Welcome to Geek Impulse. I am here today with the amazingly talented Michael Welch, who's had a long career from being, I would say, like a child star, right, to now. And that long span of career has been one that is, in my opinion, and a lot of others, very phenomenal. So, if you can, please give me a welcome to Michael Welch once again.
Thanks, man. I that really means a lot. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, um, we're headed into Alamo HeroCon, right, which is in San Antonio. I think the biggest question is that to start off with is how can fans expect to interact with you in a meaningful way as they have in the past, given the current climate and restrictions that we have in this day and age?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, well, first of all, one of my favorite parts of uh, being involved in this industry as long as I have, and being lucky enough to be a part of things that have, touched or moved or connected with people in some way, is getting to hear firsthand from the fans, and get to know some of these folks. And honestly, like, I've had really great friendships develop over the years just from kind of a shared love of film and of storytelling, and I really, the point is, like, I really enjoy getting to know people. Now, obviously I'm going to abide by whatever safety protocols Alamo HeroCon is going to put in place. I've gotten my first shot. Everyone, all the old people in my life are fully vaccinated, so I'm not as, I don't want to sound irresponsible, but, like, for me personally, like, I'm not as concerned, and it's very important for me to find that balance. So one of the things I did is I went ahead and bought clear masks, so, like, at least we can you can see my face, still be safe.
Great.
And the truth is, like, even with physical distancing, like, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of lulls over the course of 3 days where I'm just going to be sitting there not doing much. So, come hang out. Honestly, I mean, I will. I love, like I said, love talking to the fans, love connecting with people. So I will do everything that I can to make people feel welcome, and for us to have a good time. I'm sure this is a lot of our first time back in a social setting, frankly, like this at all. So first of all, I'm just going to hope to try to remember how to talk to people.
I think I've
And
lost that too, which we could tell at the beginning of the interview. Being able to talk to people in a more eloquent way.
But no, it's going to be fun. We're going to find a way to make it fun, for sure.
Awesome. So you've, like I said at the beginning, you've had this long career, and you're still young, so you still got many years to go. And you went from being more like kind of like guest star in a lot of different projects to being, I would say it's kind of like maybe your breakout one when you were doing Star Trek as a kid. Is that fair to say? And if so, like, how do you feel about that? Like, how has that maybe propelled you to where you are today?
Yeah, I mean, it's the trajectory of, I would say, most long sustaining successful acting careers is probably basically in line with how I was able to do it, which was kind of just build it a brick at a time. So you're right. I mean, it did sort of start with a bunch of different guest spots on TV shows, which was great because I got a lot of experience playing a lot of different types of characters. And once I was able to kind of build that resume a little bit, that is in all likelihood what got me the opportunity to audition for Star Trek in the first place. And then once that's on the resume, then that opens up other opportunities. And it just, so that's kind of how this stuff goes. You build relationships, you build experience, you continue to learn and try to grow as a creative person, and your career and yourself and all the things that go with it. Yeah, I mean, it was, it was a really wild experience, as you can imagine. I mean, just the craziest summer of my life. We shot it over a summer. So it was literally like I got out of school, all right, we're gonna go do this Star Trek movie. and then we're back at school. But yeah, I mean, so I don't know that I could point to specifically like that role got me XYZ role, but it's just it was a very important part of ultimately building what would be the career that, at least up to this point, most people kind of know me for.
Got it. I mean, you've been in a lot of different things. You know, when I'm doing some research about you, you know, of course, I know of you and everything, and I've seen projects you're in. But when I'm researching you, I found some pretty interesting things, right? For one, I had a question as to what's up with the interesting cover photo on your Twitter account? What's going on with that?
You know, that's just my self-deprecating instinct kicking in. You know, that was part of, I mean, I don't remember the exact context. I was in some sort of Twitter spat with somebody, like, I don't know, Greg Gutfeld or something. I don't know. And I ended up, you know, of course, as part of those threads, you know, the comments come in of like, well, I don't even know who this guy is, you know, as if like that's the greatest insult you could say. I don't expect everyone to, whatever, it's fine. So then one of the responses to one of those was, yeah, he was in the Twilight movies, and then in one of the interchangeable fireman, policeman, whatever shows, whatever the quote is. And I thought, man, what a great sort of summary of my career, Scott, and just put it up because again, you know, Twitter is a silly space, so I try to kind of lean into the silly when I can.
I agree. You definitely seem to embrace that through your tweets, even on your Instagram, things like that, which led me down to my other question that I had to ask. And that is, can you explain the whole thing about your OnlyFans profile? And then I know it's kind of silly, but I mean, if there's anything to do with Romulans or Vulcans, I would love to definitely find out because I will subscribe.
Excellent. Yeah, that one's pretty simple for me. Listen, these are weird times. There's no denying that. And you know, and I mean, I'm gonna be totally real with you. Like, as a father of two, with, you know, a wife who I love very much, you know, when this COVID stuff hit, man, I mean, it turned everybody's world upside down, obviously, right?
Yes, agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, entertainment industry was no exception to that. Shut down for a long time, and even coming out of it, you know, things are changing very rapidly to the point where, like, boy, I don't even know. I can't see where all of this is going. It's a wild world, and I could give you examples of that. I don't want to bore you guys with it, but like, so any way in which I can provide any sort of stability for my family, like, you know, I'm gonna jump on it. And I've never been uptight about that stuff. I'm just not. I don't care. Like, we're all people. We all have, you know, bodies, and I like, it's not something that has ever even crossed my mind as being weird or taboo in any way. I mean, that's just me. I mean, this stuff is all very personal. So I was like, yeah, man, I mean, if someone wants to pay me to look at some shirtless photos of me, you know, doing different things in different locations, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. So, and as far as Romulans and Vulcans, yeah, I mean, listen, at some point I am going to, I mean, I'm sure my creativity will start kicking in, and we'll incorporate some different themes. Maybe I'll, you know, yeah, like a Star Trek week, I think would be super fun. Something like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm just like a month in at this point, so I'm keeping things pretty basic at the moment until I sort of figure out what I'm doing and establish myself in this universe. But yeah, I mean, I will let you know as soon as I start introducing some of that fun stuff.
Awesome. I like it. And I definitely agree with you, right? You know, this whole thing kind of came on the world suddenly, and we had to adjust and make ways in which we can provide income for our families and continue to thrive during that. And some people were affected more than others. Those that were creative and maybe had a different mindset found ways in which they can, you know, navigate the world during this pandemic. And so, doing something like that, I don't think it's weird. You do what you got to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think whatever people have to do to make money is great. And so I think it's pretty awesome, personally.
No, dude, thank you. That really means a lot. And like honestly, I mean, even like, and of course, like you're gonna get the comments like, oh well, he used to do XYZ, now he's doing this. Framing it as if it's like some great sort of fall from grace. And the way I look, and immediately that just didn't make sense to me, that kind of mindset, because the way I look at it is like, I've been lucky enough to have a career that, for whatever reason, people have, at least some people have taken some interest in, which has allowed me sort of the foundation to be able to start a venture like this and kind of hit the ground running and do well right away. I don't see that as a bad thing at all. So anyway, we're on the same page. I don't have to keep justifying it,
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And we talked briefly at the beginning before we started recording this interview about how I became a father and how you're a father of, you said 2 girls, correct? And so I just became a father of a little girl. She's a week old, and this isn't that much about me, but what advice would you give someone like me, as well as maybe new fathers with a girl? Because I have a boy from a previous marriage, and has its challenges, but having a girl was always scary for me. And so I'm just like, I don't know what to do. So what kind of advice would you give someone like me, a new father to a baby girl?
Man. Well, I can just say the thing that became very clear right out of the gate, and I don't know if this is necessarily specific even to a girl, is like, man, they're very much who they are. I mean, yes, they are sponges, of course, and they're going to absorb and formulate their sense of the world from you and blah blah blah. But like, in terms of like who they, like kind of the core of who they are as people, I didn't realize how little I actually had to do with that. Like, in a sense, I almost feel like I'm just a shepherd getting her to the next, and both of my girls at this point, just getting them to the next phase of their life. And my job really is to just do my best to be in tune with kind of, I guess, who it is that they, what version of themselves that is going to make them feel most fulfilled and happy, and all the things that we want for all the people that we love. So I was surprised at like how little I had to do with that. And really my role is, in a weird sense, is almost more practical, if that makes sense. It's almost like, make sure they don't touch the stove, and and if they do, try to make a lesson out of it so they don't do it again. You know what I mean? Like it's all very like, as someone who's been an actor my whole life, I'm like very ethereal in my thinking. And when you have kids, it's like, yeah, that stuff kind of goes out the window and it just becomes practical, so that I don't know that that's necessarily advice, other than to say like, what seems to be the thing that serves my girls best is not when I'm trying to impose my identity onto them, and just kind of
allowing them to blossom and be who they are truly meant to be.
Yeah, I would say so. And specific to girls, yeah, I think it's more specific to like the person. What is this particular human that has been brought to this earth under my care? What do they need from me today?
Got it. Yeah, I agree. Sometimes they need their diaper changed. Sometimes they need a bottle, or they need something to eat. So it changes, and that's the very basic stuff that we can do as a father, I guess. And so I definitely can agree with you.
And dude, and honestly, sometimes that's all you, because like sometimes you feel like, especially as a dad, a new dad, I wish I could be doing more. And I checked in with my wife frequently, like, are you like, let's I feel like I should be doing more. And she goes, honestly, no, you're doing exactly what you need to be doing, which is like taking care of the things that I need you to take care of right now. Obviously, yeah, as things change, the willingness to adjust is super important, and being patient, and again, trying not to impose your worldview and sensibilities onto this small creature that's still forming. I make that mistake a lot because my 3-year-old is very smart, so I ascribe to her, the attributes of an adult, and she's not yet. So that's something that I can work on. Just because I like respect her so much already, I see her as like a peer, like clearly she's smarter than me already. So the idea of like, oh, well, no, you actually have to cater to certain elements that are underdeveloped. It's all stuff to try to keep in mind, which is difficult when you don't get enough sleep. And I don't, it's crazy, dude. It's the craziest effing thing you'll ever do in your life.
Yeah, I could agree with that for sure. And that's why I was wondering, like, how is it that you're able to do all that, right? You've got this demanding career in Hollywood, that you've got this personal life that you also have to do, which is very demanding. Like, how are you able to juggle those things, from the day to day?
Well, in theory, there's actually some built-in advantages because, I mean, theoretically, like a typical working actor, in any given year will work, maybe 4 times a year, right? So you're talking as far as actual, labor, what 2 months maybe out of the 12. So, and of course that doesn't include like, all the prep work and all the blah, 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 other stuff that you have to do and auditioning and whatever. But like, but you have a lot of time to be attentive. I mean, unless you're on like on a TV show or something, I guess. But yeah, again, it's all very case by case. In our case, like everything shut down, so we both have had a chance to. Frankly, it's been an opportunity for me to kind of put my eggs into some different baskets. I mean, I've been singularly focused on this one thing since I'm 10 years old. And then suddenly the world goes, yeah, you gotta be creative and find some other ways to make this work. So it's all still very up in the air. I mean, we're still like kind of figuring out what we're doing here, but at the end of the day, I'm just like, I'm super grateful. Like I have the life I want with the people that I want. So, after that, like everything else is going to work itself out. It's going to be fine.
Yeah. So, let's transition a little bit because, I don't want to make this all about our personal lives as far as, being parents and everything like that. Let's talk more about the geek space, if you will. That's what Geek Impulse is about. So my next question would be, what comic book characters do you love or would love to play either for DC and Marvel? Like what is it that you're hoping you get the call for?
Well, I did audition for Spider-Man back in the day. I believe the Andrew Garfield version, and that one I have to say, really like I really felt a gut connection to Peter. I mean, for a lot of different reasons. Just I really connected to him, kind of the being socially awkward and sort of making sense of the world through his photography, right? Like sometimes life can make a lot more sense if you can view it through a lens because it gives you an opportunity to step back. There was just so many elements of his experience going, into this new space he was going to be in, and then having to find the hero within himself that I really just like connected with. So when I auditioned for it, I mean, I went all out, man. I went and read all the original Spider-Man comics. I was so passionate about it. And then the problem was I showed up to the audition with with the glasses, the full thing, and I looked exactly like Tobey Maguire. And I realized like, oh, well, my version of this is kind of going to be sort of what's already been done. And they even told me, like in the room, he's like, yeah, I mean, you're great, but this is what they said. We're going for more of like an Eminem version of Spider-Man. So
like the chocolates or the wrapper?
The green M&M specifically. They wanted the wrapper. They wanted just something they were looking for something a little more gritty, I suppose.
Hmm.
Which I didn't end up seeing the Andrew Garfield version, but I don't think that's what they ended up doing. But anyway, so I went home, I threw a hoodie on, and I came back, and it just didn't quite work the same after that. But that was kind of always the one that got away as far as the comic book characters, because I just, I just felt a personal connection with him, and sometimes that happens as an actor. But what are you gonna do? In the DC universe, I don't know. I was thinking of more in terms of like, who I would want to be as a person, and I was thinking about it, and I'm not exactly an expert, but like, what exactly are Superman's like problems? You know what I mean? Like everybody has some sort of, all these heroes have some sort of demons or some sort of, I don't know. There's something about their character they have to overcome. Like Superman, what he didn't fit in high school. Join the club. So yeah, I like. I feel like that would be fun. I'd have to probably, I don't know, pack on another 40 or 50 pounds of muscle to be in the conversation there. But yeah, so there you go.
Awesome. Yeah, it does seem like, that's why they always, there's always the thing within geek culture that DC is about their villains, but then Marvel's about their superheroes, right?
Yeah, great point.
Yeah, because there's so much, if you look at it, there's a lot of growth with the villains as opposed to their superheroes. But yeah, I mean, Superman, he's pretty much indestructible. So what has he got to cry about? I completely agree. So, I want to be weary of your time. I want to respect that and everything. So I just have like maybe one more question, and that is, what is it that you got coming out next? What are you excited about? What can you tell us is next for Michael Welch?
Well, thank you for your time. I do I know I tend to ramble on. I get excited when I start talking about this stuff and talking to somebody like you. So here's another selling point. Come talk to me, because I genuinely I love this stuff. So next for me, I mean, as far as like in the entertainment industry, I worked on a Western last year with Bruce Dern and Cam Gijonde, my old Twilight buddy, even though we never met. And that's at the moment is called The Siege at Riker Station. That should be out presumably at some point in 2021. Super fun movie to do. And then I did, and then I have a film called The Grounds, which is one of those films that took a long time to find a home. It finally came out. It is out now, digital on demand, all the places that people get movies now. That's with Trevor Morgan, really funny, dark little comedy. And then I made of course, as I'm sure a lot of actors did, a COVID Zoom film, which was a series of vignettes. You're gonna have to forgive me. The name is slipping me at the moment. I was up with the 9-month-old all night, but that'll just I'll let you guys know, whenever I know something, I'll shoot it out on all the socials. So yeah, as far as I know, those are the things coming out. And then in life, man, I've learned to just planning more than 3 months in advance in this life. Doesn't do me good. So
yeah, kind of take it day by day and roll with what life throws at you, if you will. So yeah, that's awesome. Anything else that maybe a question, one question that you've always wanted to be asked that nobody's asked you?
Whoa, I've never been asked that. One question I've always wanted to be asked, but no one has asked me. Boy, I don't know. I mean, I feel like most thoughts that I have end up on Twitter. So I don't know if there's a lot of secret opinions that are rattling around back there. No, that's such a good question, man. You've stumped me here. Here's a question that I'd love to be asked. Hey, I got this film fund. It's got about $50 million in it, and man, I don't know anything about making movies. Do you think you could maybe help me out, knock out 3 or 4 films a year? We'll give you total creative control. You can hire who you want. You can, work with the people you want. I don't know. Is that something you're interested in? Um, and I'd have to think about it. Obviously, you don't just make rash decisions like that in a second. But yeah, that's something I wouldn't mind being asked.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty awesome, right? Because then your full creativity that we see in bits and parts, via Twitter, social media, and then the roles you take, I think would be really even more amplified and even more fully realized if somebody came to you and did that. And hopefully somebody will see this and come to you and ask that question now.
One can dream, my friend.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate you being here. And yes, I will come by and I will say hi to you at the convention. We will be there and it'd be great to meet you in person. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate the conversation.